This is part two of chapter 8, and I begin with where I ended. I ended with the parsing of prepositions. Now we are going to pick up with dependent clauses. I think you can follow that. Dependent clauses. These are clauses that are dependent on the main verb. These are haughty. You see the rough breathing? Haughty and hina. Haughty and hina, they both have rough breathings. When this occur, they introduce dependent clauses. These are clauses that do not stand by themselves, but they are connected to the main verb. By definition, haughty or hina is in order to. Let's say in order to study. That's a dependent clause. They do not contain the main verb of the sentence. You will never find the main verb of the sentence in a dependent clause. Now, the dependent clauses separate from the rest of the sentences. As a dependent clause by itself is separate from the rest of the sentence that it is part of. It actually modifies, it supports the main part of the sentence. And to know that you have a dependent clause, the thing that will help you the most is if you see this hina or haughty as we saw before. Now we are coming to something new. In chapter 8 we are learning prepositions and Amy. Now let's come to Amy. The Amy relates to the verb to be, or it means to be. That is the verb to be, Amy in Greek. In English, Amy is still the verb to be, but it's like am. I am. The word am is the verb to be in English, but in Greek the verb to be is Amy. So there are three persons in this verb to be: first person, second person, third person. That will become clear. And you have the stem of Amy plus the personal endings of that verb to be, and it always agrees with its subject. It always agrees with its subject. There are different forms of Amy. First person, Amy. I am. A. You are. Esten. He, she, it is. As men, plural, we are. Este, plural, you are. Essen, plural, they are. These are forms of Amy that if you learn, they will help you a lot. And this is also in the present tense. Esten and Essen, this can be confusing. Esten and Essen, the only difference there is the tau, which is in the third person singular, and it is not there in the third person plural. Okay, there is nu on all of the forms in the third person singular and the third person plural. Third person singular in the past tense is n. In the beginning was the word. In the beginning and the word. So in the past tense is n, but it's still the verb to be. He, she, it was. But generally, they do not have an accent. Yeah, they do not have an accent. Skip this. Skip enclitic for now. So something we need to help you understand too is the rule of the verb to be and predicate nominative. What is a predicate nominative? And pay attention because this can be confusing at times. In Greek, we read ho, theos, esten, kurios. Okay, that is God is, that's your verb to be, third person singular. God is what? Lord. So because of the verb to be, esten, you see that theos and kurios have the same endings. They are both in the nominative masculine singular. And as I explained in a point in the past, kurios is predicating something about theos. So what is God? God is Lord. But because of the verb to be, its object is going to be in the nominative singular masculine as well. Now, a predicate nominative then, predicate nominative, you might have a pronoun or an articular noun or proper name. Pronoun will win over. Okay? If you come to a sentence and there is a pronoun in the masculine singular, or you have a proper name that is in the masculine singular, the question is which one is the object of the verb to be and which one is the subject of the preposition. When that happens, the pronoun will win all the time. The pronoun will always become the subject, and then the proper name or another noun will become, even though they are both in the masculine and nominative singular, will become the predicate nominative. I know that's confusing. Reread that section in your book and ask me questions. In translations then, keep dependent clauses together. Keep dependent clauses together, especially when prepositional phrases. Prepositional phrases are also dependent clauses, and clauses introduced by Hina or Hoti are also independent clauses. Keep them together with the main verb that they are supporting. A prepositional phrase often will drop articles. You will not see articles with the prepositional phrase, but you will see articles with the predicate nominatives of the verb to be. When it comes to parsing, you have to be creative here. You have to be like an investigator. When you see a whole sentence, break it into phrases. Just break that sentence down until you know what is doing what. Okay? The main phrase to the left. Okay, what is the main phrase? Which is what is the subject and the verb and the direct object. And then what are the subordinate phrases like prepositional phrase or dependent clause? What are the phrases that are subordinate? And those phrases, you put them under the word they modify. I don't know how to explain this to you without you saying it. You have to put this under the words that they modify. The subordinates go under the word they modify, and the main sentence stay by itself. So you have to break your sentence into pieces. Write questions down, and I think there are examples in your book that you can turn to. This is just to give you an idea what these are, so that when you reread that section in your book, it will make more sense. In summary, prepositions have objects and they form prepositional phrases. Meaning of the prepositions are determined by their case. Okay, meaning is determined by case, not keywords in prepositions, not keywords. They are not inflected. They do not appear in nominative, genitive, dative, or accusative. But they do have elisions where the vowel of the preposition drops if it is followed by a word beginning with a vowel. And the articles in the prepositional phrases are omitted. Dependent clauses never have the main verb, but are dependent on the main verb of that sentence. So they go under the main verb of the sentence. And we've just finished learning about Amy, the verb to be. The subject will be in nominative, and then the word that follows it is not really its object, but it's a predicate nominative. The word that follows it will be in the nominative also, which means the word that follows it is saying something about the subject of that sentence. I know this is a confusing section, but that is what it is. So if you have questions, this will help you clarify your questions better. Vocabulary, I will just pronounce them for you. Allah, Allah. Okay, you have al, because these are two consonants that go together. La. You see here, if it is followed by a word beginning with a vowel, the alpha drops. This alpha after the lambda drops and is replaced with by an apostrophe. Went through dia. Dia, you already know the rules why The D there means there is an addition. Amy, I am. Ek means out of. We will explain to you later what this ek means. Okay. Then hemera. Hemera means is a word for day. This article indicates that it means that it is feminine. Hemera. Notice also it begins with an apostrophe. And then this is N, the past tense for Amy. He, she, it was. Thalassa. Thalassa ends with an alpha. Article is eta, meaning it is C. It means C, but it's feminine. And you notice in the genitive it will be thalasses, because those alternative first declension nouns that end with an alpha, the alpha becomes an eta in the genitive and in the dative. So you have thalassa. Nope, it should not be right. It should be thala. Since these are two consonants that go together, they are double. Thalassa. Oof. See, I'm getting tired. Then thanatos. Thanatos is masculine, meaning death. Ioannes. Ioannes. This is masculine, even though it has this eta, but the ending is sigma, meaning John. So it ends with eta and it's not feminine, but the article tells you it's not feminine. So you have e, u, double consonants, and ness. Okay, this go together. Ioannes. John. Lego. Lego, I speak. Meta. The same thing, meta, alpha. If it is followed by a word beginning with a vowel without a rough breathing, you drop the alpha, you replace it with a apostrophe. If it is followed by a word beginning with a vowel and a rough breathing, you drop the alpha. Then the theta becomes the tau becomes a theta. Oikia, home or house. Oikia is feminine. Oikos, masculine. House, home. Uchlos, crowd. Para, from. That's a preposition. It follows the same rules of all prepositions. Parabole, parable, and it is feminine. Pros, to, towards. Remember we dealt with that before. Hippo, hippo, by. Follow the same rules for prepositions. And now you realize in the vocabulary so far, you have learned 72 words and they make up 52% of the New Testament. Now you just have to learn 48 more percent and you're going to be set. Thank you again, and I hope you find this helpful as well. Bye bye.